Hey everyone. Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful time. This is Homeopathy World Community, the Health In Show, and we have a special guest, Miranda Castro, with our co-host, Dr. Deepak Sharma of New Delhi, India, of the Orbits Clinic. And we want to graciously thank Amnon Nissan for putting all of this together and getting us up and running today. We've already had a call from folks who want to listen in, so tell your friends to join us. You can call in to 919-518-9773 to give us your comments or ask questions. If you are international, go to your Skype at Computers 2K Voice, and that way you can connect in with us. Good day, Dr. Sharma. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, good day, Debby. Good day, man. Happy to see you again on the show, and this is really will be a nice show on the cell salts. Welcome.
I'm very excited to talk about cell salts too, and I'm going to introduce Miranda Castro, British-trained professional homeopath, practicing since 1983, writing and teaching about homeopathy since 1988. Her love and passion for homeopathy is really unbounded. She discovered classical homeopathy when her son was a year old and suffering from pertussis. I don't know whether she's going to tell us any about that story, but I'm sure it must be in some of your writings and your books.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay, maybe we'll learn something. Today, by the way, today is December 3rd, 2012. All of these shows are going to be archived for your convenience, listening to them in the future. I already had a comment from a person on LinkedIn inquiring because they're in clinic. Miranda is a world traveler, giving lectures. She's an inventor of combination. She is of combination cell salt formulas. She works with computer software. She has done professional homeopathic supervision and I guess developed that for students, and is well known as the author of the book, The Complete Homeopathy Handbook, Homeopathy for Mother and Baby, and a homeopathic guide to stress. And some of those slides are up there, so we can take a quick view of those. Yeah, we started the slides, and I've already given the introduction and moved along to the book, pictures of her books. You can find them directly from her website, and I guess also from Amazon. That's where you can get everything. She is a regular contributor to both professional homeopathic journals and popular publications dealing with complementary health matters and homeopathy. And I'm sure you have read one of her articles either on influenza, colds, midwifery, tummy aches, injuries, trauma, pets, and much more. I remember when the fires were out west and there was a lot of smoke inhalation, that you sent out a post onto Facebook so that, you know, you're constantly updating people on how they can care for themselves in emergency situations. We're getting ready to begin the talk today about Schussler biochemical cell salt or tissue salt remedies. And I have a little slide if you want to move it along to the blue one a little bit further. There you go. The human body contains 12 inorganic elements which are responsible for maintenance of normal cell function. And the next one, the human body contains 12 inorganic elements which are responsible for maintenance of normal cell function. There we go. And I'm going to let you take off here. I have a list of the 12 cell salts if you need to have that posted at any time. Miranda, do you have any words of wisdom for us?
Oh, good morning, Debbie. Thank you for a sweet introduction. I've never been called an inventor before. I'm enchanted. I'm going to think about that.
Well, obviously, as an innovator of new ideas, you're an inventor.
I think I've I think I've always said that I've never had an original idea. I think that's true. I simply am very good at taking what's in the world already and summarizing it or putting it together in a form that's accessible to everybody. Homeopathy, that's how I came to homeopathy. I used it my whole life. My family used it. I grew up with it. My family doctor was a naturopathic physician. But the books I had, God bless them, actually that included the biochemic handbook, these, and this is what, when I left home at 16, I went and got a little travel kit, just like this one, with all the cell salt.
I have it too.
And, but age 16, this is what I had, as well as a 36 remedy homeopathic kit. But the books I had gave me the wrong impression about homeopathy. They gave me the impression that you just pick one or two symptoms and, then you select one remedy, and if it doesn't work, you go to the doctor, a proper doctor. That's what a lot of people end up doing. And so when I finally, as you said, Daniel got whooping cough. He got it very badly. And we went to 4 homeopaths.
So don't give up. The message is don't give up.
Then we went to 2 medical doctors who practiced homeopathy, 1 anthroposophical homeopath, 1 lay practitioner, and none of them helped him, not at all. And I just said to myself, you know what, it's a good thing I trained as an acupuncturist. Homeopathy is hit or miss. I'm giving up on it. And it was a very, very lucky thing that a radionics practitioner steered me in the direction of a classical homeopath who literally, with his first prescription, Daniel's vomiting stopped overnight. And within a week, the cough stopped.
The cough stopped. Do you remember what the remedy was?
Saying what it was.
Okay.
Because it was a miasmatic. It was unique to him.
Okay.
His miasmatic load that involved lung stuff meant that he needed a very unusual remedy. And I don't want people thinking that they're going to try it on their own children, because that would be a mistake. And so the point, when I saw how homeopathy really works, that you need culture, that you need to know about the inherited influence, when I really understood that at a deep level, through seeing it in action and in inaction, seeing it not work because of the superficial prescribing, it was good. One of those medical doctors did really good prescribing, but he didn't take the miasms into account, the inherited weaknesses. And when I saw it, I said, oh my gosh, I get it. You do suddenly get it. And my whole life since then has been about spreading the word, making homeopathic medicine accessible to the lay public, making it, reformatting it.
I think we're getting up.
Are we okay?
I don't think so. Some looks like the bamboozler is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like, what the skeptics might, or a mother who is frantic about a child who has whooping cough, which is in epidemic proportions today because of what we've done regarding vaccinations and created these more resistant strains or newer varieties of strains that's not covered.
It's mutated, yeah.
Yeah, so when that happens, and somebody does go to a doctor, and then a naturopath, and then a chiropractor, and then a homeopath, and they're searching for an answer, and it's you even saw it. It's like you're ready to give up, and what can you do? So I think a lot of people today feel that way about homeopathy when they don't have a successful outcome. And so...
Well, hold on a sec.
Go ahead.
What you're saying makes sense, but it isn't logical. So, here's what happens in real life to ordinary people in every walk of life. They have a complaint, a rash, a pain, an ache, a discharge. They go to the pharmacy. They get some over-the-counter medicine. It doesn't work. They go back. They speak to the pharmacist. She suggests this or that medicine. They buy it. They buy 2 different medicines this time. They try one. It doesn't work. They try the other. It doesn't work. They go to their doctor now and get a prescription medicine. Maybe it works, but maybe it doesn't. So they go back and get some more tests. So there's a double standard in operation with homeopathy. For some reason, people feel like it has to work, and it has to work immediately. The first thing you try has to work, otherwise homeopathy doesn't work. But we don't say that about any other therapy. I have to tell you, I think we're partly to blame for this problem, because homeopaths in general have only ever published their best cases. And so there's an unconscious expectation that if you go to a homeopath, you're going to get a single medicine that will cure you for life.
Say so.
And this is not how it works. We're just like everybody else. We're doing our best, the best we can with limited information many times. And, one of the joys of homeopathy is when a remedy doesn't work, it gives me information about where to go next. It gives me information about what a patient might not actually have and what they may have. That maybe, the remedies that work are a little miracle of information because of our big pictures. So I do say to people, try homeopathy, but don't give up on it after one remedy.
Precisely. And we do have the writings of Dr. Hahnemann in the Organon of Medicine, which does tell us how to practice. And what you just said, that after a remedy, something new comes out, something expresses itself, and you understand the person a little bit better to get your remedy selection a little bit closer to the right one that's going to work.
That's how it happens sometimes, yeah.
Dr. Sharma, did you have a comment?
Yes. I just want to say one thing. Dr. Hahnemann are saying very little about the cell salts. These are the main things, because these salts are basic ingredients of our cells. So it acts very totally, and you are saying very true that skeptics are on the other side. The homeopaths or in the world have the largest physician, those who are presenting a curative case. No other pathies are having a case in the cure. So that is a big benefit of the homeopathy. We have the large number of cure cases.
As opposed to just taking medication for the rest of your life and maintenance, you're saying using homeopathy, you actually got back to normal, back to your old self, or your good self.
Hahnemann didn't talk about cell salts because they hadn't been invented. Schussler, he created this range, this discrete system of healing in the 20s. I don't know when exactly, but it was the date. He was, I think it was after Hahnemann died.
Okay,
no?
we'll have to investigate that. I'm sure somebody has written up on it. Well, let's see. What does it say in our little books? We can look.
What was Hahnemann's death? When was his death? He published the Organon in 1810, and he died in
It was in 1873 that Dr. Schussler published his first article about the biochemic form of medicine.
That's right.
1873.
Yep.
So this was after Hahnemann published.
Yeah, but all the remedies were there already. Hahnemann had, he'd proven a lot of them already, I think.
Do we want to just list the homeopathic cell salts so that people know what we're talking about, and then we can go on to the questions?
Well, let's just say what they are. Schussler was a homeopath. The interesting thing about him is he was a homeopath who found homeopathy too difficult and too complicated and too variable. There were too many variables. He found it annoying, and he wanted to. He was a biochemist who postulated that all disease started at a cellular level, was due to disorders or changes in cell function. And he said, okay, if we can work at a cellular level to improve cell function, then we can remove disease. That was it was a very beautiful, simple theory. And he only focused on the inorganic salts. So all the other, there are a multitude of other salts in cells, but he just focused on the 12 big guys, and those are calcium fluoride, calc fluor, as it's known to its friends, calcium phosphate or calc phos, calcium sulfate or calc sulf,
Doing good.
ferrum phosphate, that's iron, and then the potassiums, potassium chloride, potassium phosphate and potassium sulfate, and these are all known respectively as Kali-Mu, Kali-Phos, and Kali-Sulf. Then magnesium phosphate or Mag-Phos, the sodiums, sodium chloride, sodium phosphate, and sodium sulfate. So that's sodium chloride, which is salt, or natrum mu, and natrum phos, and natrum sulf, and finally silica. And he basically said a lack of the salts in the cells, a lack of the salts causes disease, and this lack can be made up by supplementing with a homeopathic version that has, and this is the big difference between a homeopathic medicine and the cell salts, is that the homeopathic medicines have been succussed. They've been diluted in a special way that releases tremendous energy and is tremendously dilute. This is what the skeptics find incredibly amusing.
They are amused. They use that against us, but there are so many things in this world that are at such a minutia, and it affects us. Sound affects us. The weather affects us, and even very diluted substances affect how we respond, how our bodies respond. So I don't think that we can take that. Well, let's take it with a grain of salt. We have a caller. Hello.
Hi, Debbie, and hi, Mirinda. This is Kavita.
Good day, Kavita. This is Kavita Kukanur. Do you have...
Mirinda, it is very good to see you.
Lovely to hear you, Kavita. Hi.
She's a regular.
I know. We have communicated.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Debbie, for bringing Mirinda here. That's so nice. And that too, the topic is very interesting, and every homeopath really wanted to know more about using the cell salt. So we would love to hear from Mirinda, her experiences on this.
Okay, that's what I'm here for today. In America, they're called the cell salts. In England, We call them
Tissue.
the tissue salts. And I think
Yes.
in India, do you call them cell salts or tissue salts?
No, tissue salts. We just call as biochemic tissue salts. So biochemic remedies, tissue salts we use. We never use cell salts.
So these terms are all interchangeable. Cell salts, tissue salts, biochemic salts, biochemic cell salts, biochemic tissue salts. They're all any combination of the above. It's all the same thing. But these remedies have not been diluted in the same way as a homeopathic medicine. And I just wanted to finish that thought quickly. It makes them more gentle, more able to be repeated without getting into trouble, without conducting an unintentional proving, without getting symptoms. They're like the supplements of the homeopathic medicine chest. They are the supplements of the homeopathic medicine chest, but just the minerals, not the vitamins.
Okay, and so we have the 12 tissue salts that we're working with.
Yeah.
And you explained a little bit about what a cell salt is and how are they considered homeopathic? In what way are they considered homeopathic?
We have provings.
Okay.
So they have been tested on healthy people. We have pictures. We have big pictures. You know, if you're a homeopath, the Burke and Dewey book, the big book on the cell salts, this is, you know, it has extensive information on each of the cell salts. In India, the homeopaths use the cell salts for chronic diseases. I've tended not to do that in my own practice. I use them as intercurrents. I use them in between constitutional prescribing, or for very mild symptoms, or for mild acutes, or where people are very sensitive, oversensitive to homeopathics and want something at a more physical level, but don't want to, take a supplement, for example. So you can use the cell salts in different ways. You can use them as tonics.
What is the definition of a tonic?
A tonic would be do Americans not take tonics?
No, not really. I mean, I think of a tonic like mineral water, like quinine, or,
There's a lot of tonics in England. I just recently understood that maybe you don't do tonics. So a tonic is, in England, in the winter, you would take a tonic to lift your spirits.
Okay.
Floridix, or, a herbal tonic that maybe had some minerals in it, some extra vitamins or minerals. When you can't get out into the sunshine, or because there isn't any for 6 months of the year. Or after an acute illness, you want a tonic, don't you, to lift your energy and your spirits after a flu. So then Calphosphoricum, Calphos, that's Calphos and Calphos. Those are the two big tonics in the cell salt range that are brilliant after an acute illness.
So you would take this tonic after you'd had something, that you overcame some symptoms.
Dragging after a cough or a flu or a gastric bug or whatever it is, you're just dragging. And people after a flu, they sometimes feel depressed, don't they?
They would feel down, well, weak or unable to get out of bed.
So if they feel like that, depressed and weak and can't get out of bed, then Calphos, it's a sweet tonic. You can take it for a week or two until, your spirits, your physical and your emotional spirits are back on track. Now, sometimes, and this is another sweet thing about the cell salts, sometimes people can't choose between two. They say, I think Calphos has always done me really good in the past, but I need Califos. I can't choose between them. Doesn't matter. You can take both. You can alternate them. Mm-hmm. So 1 and 2 or 3 hours later, take the other, alternating them through the day. And your body just does, really loves this method. It's, of course, you can put them together, but alternating them is like the British way, the way we all learned to do it.
Uh-huh. I feel very free when I hear you talk about using the cell salts, that you don't have to be afraid of them or how you're taking them, how complicated or strict you have to be with yourself. I just did take a quick look on Wikipedia for that tonic water, or Indian tonic water. It's considered carbonated soft drink in which quinine is dissolved.
Oh, no, not that tonic water.
But it says originally used as a prophylactic against malaria.
Yeah,
tonic water usually now has a significantly lower quinine content and has a bitter taste. And we think about bitter things as being really healthy for cleaning our liver or something. So so it really does connect in with that. But the way you talk about it being sweet and gentle, it's sort of something like, oh, that's my friend, the cell salt.
They are. That's very lovely for you to say that. I'm so glad to hear it. And yes, I do encourage people. I say, make friends with your cell salts, one at a time. And you'll never forget the ones that work when you use them. And then you've got a friend for life then. So it keeps people out of the doctor's offices. It keeps people from having to take medicines needlessly for sort of minor complaints. That's my aim. I want people to save those big guns, the antibiotics and so on and so forth, for when they really need them, and not take them for every little ill. So that's my goal. Get smart about these gentle little healers so that you save your immune system.
Okay, so my second question was, why do we find a combination of cell salts together in the store? I mean, you were just kind of alluding to that, that you can alternate them, like, let's say, every 4 hours, switch the calories?
2 to 4 hours, depending,
But I guess maybe, is it just easier to find the combination in the bottle and just...
Here's the problem. I've got a list of... So the combinations are good if it includes the remedies you need.
Mm-hmm.
So the combinations, for example, there's one for fatigue here that's combination F. They've been alphabetized, A through S. So there's one for acidity and one for circulatory disorders and so on. They've been written up. And but if the remedy you need and the one you need isn't in the combination, then it might not help. So I have a special attitude about combinations. I encourage people to look at the remedies that are in there, to check them out, read up the individual remedies to see if those remedies resonate with them, with the symptoms they're experiencing. Because if they don't, it won't work.
Well, that would be the minimum.
That's all a combination is. It's a guess. It's a best guess. And so some of them are pretty good. But here's what, the combination that was missing, that I've had to get made up, 100,000 times. The combination that's missing from all the ranges is one for hair, nails, teeth, and bones, for the strength of the bones. The one that has calc-phos and calc-fluor and silica in it. And so in the end, I don't know what took me so long. It took me 30 years, but I had it made up myself. and I'm making it available at my shop because this is the one that's just brilliant for the growing child, for toddlers, babies and children, for who are having growth spurts, for, you know, menopausal women who are worried about their bones and bone health. Even though there are 20 or 30 combinations, because there are 12 remedies, not all the combinations have been made. I know what you're going to ask me next.
Okay.
Do I get a prize if I guess right?
I don't know if you're going to get a prize because we have a comment in the chat by John Board.
Okay.
We have a comment in the chat, John Board, who we have had on the show in the past, who is doing bee therapy he has lymphoma.
Oh, yeah.
And so he says, can he take these remedies and use them for the cancer that he has? And I mean, we always want to say on this show, this is just a discussion, educational. We're just talking about what we want to learn, and we don't prescribe anything.
Cell salts. I'm never going to talk, especially in public, about the cell salts for a chronic complaint like cancer. That always needs expert help. You know, even with the cell salts, you need a homeopath who really knows their onions. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Really knows what they're doing to select great remedies one at a time, to know how and when to repeat them, how to help someone. I have, and that is a question for maybe Dr. Sharma can answer that question, because the Indian homeopaths are using cell salts for cancer and having good results, so I understand. It's not, I don't have that experience, and I can't talk to it.
Okay, that's perfectly clear. And also, there is the book by Dr. Ramakrishnan and Dr. Coulter, and they have numerous cell salts. His book is all about treating cancer.
That's right.
And he personally uses it in his practice as a supportive therapy, like you say, as a tonic, to like palliative. It's not being used as a curative agent, but more to assist them to get through their symptoms, as far as I understand.
Except one thing. So, this range of cell salts, some of the remedies in it are pretty big homeopathic remedies in their own right, like Natrum muriaticum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like silica, like any of the calcareas. Not all of them are big homeopathic remedies in their own right, but some of them are. If your constitutional remedy happens to be one of the 12 cell salts, then that cell salt will not just act as a sweet little tonic. That cell salt will do amazing work. I mean, it will really heal at a deep level. But you need a homeopath to work that one out. Or luck. So when people first come to homeopathic medicines, sometimes they get beginner's luck. And they light on a remedy that is really good for them or their children. I mean, really good. And if they followed my rules, my number one rule, which is to make notes, to keep notes. If they keep notes of every remedy they give, why they give it, and the results, then they will notice that after they gave this cell salt, their child leapt back into the land of health and stayed in the land of health for many moons. Then that cell salt, that's a winner. That's a pebble that drops into the middle of the pond and sends healing ripples out to every part of that person's body. And that cell salt would be the first remedy to consider the next time that person is sick.
Excellent. And that you just talked about your logo, that pebble from dropping from within, and the ripples from within out is healing. And I have a question about we didn't mention that cell salts are typically like, it's a low potency, something like a 3x or a 6x. No? 6x?
Yeah. I mean, they come in 3x and 4 and 12 and goodness knows how many X's. But 6x is the main one, and they come just to, let's open a little.
Yeah, I have mine too. Miranda,
Oh,
I have the exact same kit.
Yeah, it's a very sweet kit.
Had it forever.
With the 12 remedy. It's very lightweight. It's very nice. You can just pop it in the suitcase.
And it comes with a little card, a little quick card to know what each one does.
And I sell it at my shop with the biochemic handbook for free and a great handout and everything. So they are the cell salts, just to let everybody know, because they're little white pillules that dissolve. They crush. You can crush them. They crush into a powder. It makes them very nice to give to children. You can just hold them. It looks kind of funny, but you can hold them inside a baby's cheek. It'll dissolve on contact with saliva, or you can crush them between 2 spoons and then just pop a little of the powder in the mouth, or you can put them in water and just then sip on the water. So they're very flexible. They're way more flexible than the hard globules that homeopathic remedies tend to come in. And on the bottles it says, if you take 2 tablets for a child and 4 for an adult. And I've talked to the pharmacists about this. In theory, that's probably correct to take 4 tablets if you're an adult, because there's still something of the original substance in a 6X. Quite a lot, actually. That means there's still some of the mineral in there. And if you take 4 tablets, then you're getting a nice dose of it. But if you're very sensitive, then maybe 1 or 2 or 3 is enough. And so that's another reason for making friends with the remedies, so that you learn the effect on yourself and how much you need.
Perfect. And keeping a journal is very, very important. We have a couple of comments in the chat. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Comments from Dr. Kavitha says, I read someplace that Dr. Banerjee's protocol for treating cancer cases, something about giving Nature Mure and Cali Mure in low potency 3X or 6X daily for 2 to 3 months as a supplement. And I did have a question about how long you take the remedies. And then also Kanchan says, even when you're pregnant, he had a question.
Can you take them? He's got one before that.
Yeah, can you take them when you're pregnant? So the 2 questions are, is it appropriate at all stages of life, and also for how long?
So how long means if you have a chronic disease, your homeopath's going to tell you.
Okay.
If you're home prescriber and you're prescribing on your children, for example, then you'll use their symptoms as a guide. People forget to take a remedy, or they forget to give it when it's not needed anymore. That's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to give it a little bit more often. So, for example, anemia in pregnancy. So you need to take it routinely, but usually it's accompanied by fatigue, or 1 or 2 other symptoms. There's some paleness, or the gums are pale, stuff like that. People can check those symptoms. If the energy, just bursts up, then the remedy's not needed anymore. It's done its job. So I tell people to start and stop as needed. In England we have, and I can't find out the beginning of this, we have a cell salt program for pregnancy that where we give certain salts certain months that coincide with the development of the baby's systems at that time. And they're given in alternation, and they're only given for 1 month at a time. So that you know, again, it's just, this is even more gentle than taking a mineral supplement, way more gentle, without being strong. So it's safe for any time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in the chat, Kanchan was responding to say you can even take cell salts when you're not pregnant. So that was kind of cute. And John Board said in Canada they sell a combination of all of the salts, and we were going to mention that.
That was the question that I thought you had next.
That's the next one. It's okay.
People have misunderstood me about bioplasma. So some people swear by it. There are all 12 cell salts in one bottle.
Yep.
Now, homeopathic medicines have relationships with one another, including the cell salts. So a few of those, some of the cell salts are not in harmony, if you like. They have antidotal relationships in that bottle. Because I'm such a boring old classical homeopath, it runs against my grain. Every cell in my body says, freaks out at the thought of putting so many into one bottle. So we have rules for combinations, 3-4 remedies maximum. Make sure the relationships work, that they're harmonious. Make sure that they're in a nice low potency, and make sure that the symptomatology is logical, that it's a good, strong, logical formula. Okay. Excuse me. Having said that, I plucked up courage one day, and on several occasions, I've tried bioplasma, thinking, well, it can't do anything. Surely, when I take it, nothing is going to happen. I was wrong.
You were wrong.
I was wrong.
Miranda, you're never wrong.
I'm always wrong. Often wrong.
What happened?
What happened? It's a very funny story. The thing that happened only one other time in my life. When I was in Iceland, and I was the guest in Anna, the homeopath who lives there in Reykjavik, a guest in her house, and she served some Icelandic specialties, included rotten shark. Do you know this Icelandic specialty?
No, I'm glad. I don't know it.
Buried in, then hung, and it's very old. It's, I don't know, a year old. Anyway, I'm an intrepid foodie. I will try anything once. And so I had a bite, and I got a jolt. Like it's pure ammonia, I think. I got a terrific jolt. It was quite exciting. And
it was a good jolt?
It was not altogether pleasant. But in that I didn't want to repeat it.
Okay.
But it was unusual. And I had the same experience with bioplasma. I could never have foreseen that. I don't know why. And I don't want to repeat it. Now, I'm very sensitive to medicines.
Okay.
So I'm a good prover, I'm a good tester of conventional and alternative, anything. I respond very quickly to a good medicine. So I can only say that this did not feel good to me, and a lot of people swear by it. So if it works for you, all right. My hands are, what are they? I'm
clasped into your lap. That way, you're not saying anything. They're doing their thing, and they're happy with it, and it's working for them.
It's so true. But why some people
It just doesn't make sense, right?
They're out. The logic of it is it's not good. So don't take any medicine. This is a rule. Don't take any medicine, including a homeopathic, including a low potency, including a supplement, a vitamin, a mineral, a cell salt. Don't take it day in, day out, year in, year out, without taking breaks.
Good idea.
You need to test out whether you're making very expensive urine, at the very least. You need to
It's a joke.
That's right. Well, kind of. You know, some people feel better when they start taking, this big pile of supplements. They feel better. And
Psychologically better, maybe, to know that they have a bunch.
No, some people just feel better. They didn't realize that some of their symptoms were being caused. They're very strong supplements, and some of them were causing problems. Some people, and then you can find out which are the ones that are really helping, and just take.
Right. When you give you give your body a break from something, you can see what happens next.
Right.
Whether you're holding steady or you're not, and then you can say, oh, you know what, I really needed that again, or I feel fine without it. So either way. Do we have more questions for you? You developed that special combination of, tell me what's in that again. So it's for the bones and for...
Hair, bones, hair, nails, and teeth.
Okay, the cells that are growing in your body. And
it's the one that's responsible for the health of your structure, all the bones, the calcium absorption. So it's calc fluor, calc phos, and silica.
It's a core remedies. And so tell me, have people been sending you feedback about the effectiveness of this one? That's what my next question is for you.
Nice. Well, I've been using it for years in my practice, so I know it works. And it works great on, if people do not have a malabsorption problem, something more serious going on underneath, it works beautifully. The hair is thicker and healthier. The nails start growing like you've been out in the sun for a while.
Okay, so that makes sense to me then, because like during pregnancy or during menopause, when a woman might be losing hair, then it might be effective in those particular stages of life.
Yeah, well, for the elderly. It's brilliant for the elderly.
That's number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So this has definitely been proven. I mean, it's been proven in the books, and you have a lot of great feedback from years of use.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. Nothing works for everybody all the time. If you get anyone who promises you 100%, you gotta think, oops, snake oil. But it will, for someone who doesn't have a serious underlying problem, it will help a tremendous amount. They need to do diet, bone health, have some resources.
Please.
Can I put them in the link here? Will they show up?
If you're on the chat, you can try to put it on there. What are the resources?
So at my website, there's a free webinar on bone health. I talk about because homeopathy is just one part. It's one part of, our bodies have basic needs. They have basic needs for rest, for nutrition, for exercise. And if we can't get those basic needs met, then no amount of homeopathy will compensate for that lack. And I mean, even if you're wheelchair bound, there are exercises that you can do to help your flexibility, your muscles. And in America, my experience has been, I've been here 20 years now, the biggest problem people have here, two, not enough sleep. I mean, people are chronically sleep deprived. Their children are in a terrible mess because of these early mornings. You know, children, they have a circadian rhythm that's not built for early nights, as the teenagers are naturally wanting to be up a bit later and then sleep in. So they're up. Half the children in my practice are getting 5-6 hours sleep a night. I can't survive on that. The kids, they're growing, their bones are growing. The sleep, you know, it's a sweet little fact that all the cells in our body do twice the amount of repairs during sleep. I mean, it's not just, we're not just getting rest, we're getting rest and repairs. It's R and R. So they're not getting enough sleep and they're not eating. So these kids, they get up in the morning, they're exhausted, they've got no appetite, they're not eating breakfast. And then they're eating, you know, these school lunches, which are not so clever. They're not nutritionally clever. So there's a bit, I see it as a major problem. We're always building the health of our future in the present. So the children, the teenagers are building the health of their 20s, the bodies for their 20s in their teens. As parents, we have to make sure that they're filled up with good stuff.
Out of everything that you have said today, Miranda, I think that last message is so vital. I think if anybody who pops in today and wants to hear a good message, I think that was it. You know, that is the message. Is basically you're creating your future by what you're doing today with your sleep pattern, with your nutrition, with your sunlight and your exercise.
Yeah. Sunlight, that's another one. It's really
right. So you mentioned two things that were like, I love it when you say you have these rules. So the one was sleep deprivation in America. I don't know whether it's the same around the world in other countries. And the second one you said was the school lunches, or
they're not eating.
They're not eating.
They're living on adrenaline. And junk food.
Yep, that's a problem.
And they're going to take that into their adulthoods, which they do, and then they're living on these energy drinks.
Can we go long? Okay, so also
to time.
We have just a little bit of time left. I know we didn't get through all of the little questions that I had. I had one having to do with since you mentioned sleep. There's a cell salt for like insomnia that has nervous energy and it's difficult to sleep.
Caliphos, yeah.
Caliphos, okay, yep. So just letting the folks out there know that. And then is there...
You can go for that. Miranda, you cannot use the chat in Skype. That is disabled here.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
I'm just putting them there. So what should I do with those?
I will send it out at the end of the show. Okay, and then we have... if you're generally not feeling up to par, you know, let's say... You feel like you're not yourself and you're coming down with something and you just don't have the right amount of energy. Is there a remedy that out of the cell salts?
So you've got no symptoms. And you know what the remedy is for that? It's a very simple remedy. It's called TLC.
Aha.
You go have a, whatever nutritious meal for you. Sometimes for me it's a plate of rice and greens. Sometimes it's a steak. Whatever my body intuitively feels like it needs because of what I've been through. Or maybe nothing. Whatever it is, I'll have, a nutritious little meal, and then I'll take myself, have a hot bath and an early night, and have a nice long sleep. And if that's all I needed, if all I needed was a little R&R so that my body's cells could do their repairs, then I'm fit, bouncy the next day. And this is what a good healer does, is, just give the body a chance to heal itself. If the next day I'm no better, I'm looking for symptoms to guide me. Am I pale and wan and feeling a bit anemic? I'm going to take ferrum phos and calphos. Am I just feeling nervously, wrung out? My nervous energy is just gone because I've been living on my nerves. I'm going to take caliphos. Otherwise, I'm going to wait for symptoms. I really am.
Okay.
And you won't find ferrum phos in my book, any of my books. It's a funny thing. People occasionally spot that and ask me about it, but not so often. And it isn't in my books because people take it too easily for fevers. They use it like aspirin.
Which one?
Ferrum phos.
Yeah.
We should never, ever treat a fever. Fever is the body's way of fighting infection. And it's fever's healthy. It's a sign of a strong, healthy immune system. We have to wait. We have to wait for the body to throw up some other symptoms to know what we're dealing with. If you knock the fever on the head, the minute it surfaces, if you suppress it with aspirin or ferrum phosphoricum or any other homeopathic remedy, aconite or belladonna, if you suppress the fever, then the underlying illness has a chance to grow and get stronger and become more uncontrollable. This is why. But, it is a wonderful remedy for inflammation when it's gone on for a few days and now you're worried. And it's not resolving. The fever has gone on for 3-4 days and there's a little cough maybe, but no other symptoms, and the doctor says it's viral. You or she, your child will get better in their own time. You just have to do bed rest. That's the time to use ferrum phos, but people are too hasty with it.
Well, you just answered question number 7.
Okay.
You just did it intuitively. Your stream of consciousness is incredible. I think so. We already answered number 8, so we're doing really well. That was about the concern about bone health and osteoporosis, and you also mentioned about anemia and a couple of the other symptoms. So we're covering a lot of ground. We already talked about the bioplasma as a no-no. But the main thing that I understand, I'm taking away this message that, number 1, be patient. Number 2, check in with your body. What does it need? The R&R is like a big number, like do this first. And these are the powerful messages I'm getting from you. Don't constantly reach for a remedy if it's sleep, that you have sleep deprivation or you're missing something in your diet.
There you go.
So this is the big message I'm taking away today from you. And
I also have my article on the cell salts at my website, mirandacastro.com.
Yes.
There's an articles link, and then there's, at that page, just search for Gentle Little Souls. There's a nice article on the cell salts, which gives a tremendous amount of information about it. I also want to say to you and all your listeners that if people want to purchase at my shop, because I've got lots of products that are cell salt related, if they use your discount coupon, which is HWB for Brooke 12, they'll get a 10% discount. And if they mention the Homeopathy Blog Radio, I'm going to put a present in. There'll be a little gift in every order, little extra gift for anyone.
For the holidays.
Yeah, yes. Just a gift.
Just because you're you.
just because you're wonderful, Debbie, just to support you in your work.
And I was going to say the same to you.
I know, we got mutual appreciation. It's just to appreciate all the work that you do. It's really amazing.
So a gift to the listeners, because you want to tune in and listen and learn and spread the word about homeopathy, about the little gentle sweet cell salts. Kavitha, did you want to say something? Are you with us?
One quick question, Deb. Hey, Mirinda, like you anytime use Silesia or potency and also the lower potency like 3x or 6x for any abscess or any case which needed Silesia?
So she's saying the silica for abscesses.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. I mean, silica is a beautiful little remedy where there's anything locked in. You've got infection or pus or something in the body that needs to come out.
A splinter.
Splinter, I've had 10-year-old splinters come. You know, one patient, I just gave it to her constitutionally, and she came back and she said, is there a connection, a 10-year-old splinter from the palm of her hand ejected? It's wonderful for abscesses, before they've started to drain.
Okay, and we're coming to the end of the questions that I had prepared, and perhaps you touched upon it. This is number 12 we're going to move on to, because you already explained 11 how to take it, and you demonstrated that to us. They are lovely since they melt so easily as opposed to those the other kind of globules and granules. So can you take the cell salts along with your regular homeopathy?
You can, but if you're seeing a homeopath, you should let them know, because since some of the cell salts are big remedies in their own right, they will have relationships to other homeopathic medicines. And it would be a shame to inadvertently counteract the effects of your constitutional remedy. Your homeopath can check it out, and they can maybe reassure you about the symptoms that you're having. It's always a good idea to do that first in any case.
Right. So some of the cell salts, the tissue salts, are compatible.
And some are not.
And some are not. Okay. And then I had this strange question. Have you noticed the need for any one of the cell salts more than the others? I mean, we have 12.
It's kind of I tell you, it's a question that I can answer because I sell them, and I sell replacements. And the one replacement that I have to order in much more of than any others is Calimure.
Calimure, and that's the one that I had told you a story.
That's right.
I used it constantly. If I was flying on the airplane, I used it to open the eustachian tubes. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one that helps the eustachian tubes to drain.
Yes.
Calimure effects is a tonic for the mucous membranes, for all the mucous membranes of the body, the lungs, the sinuses, the ear, the inner ear, the mouth. And so anytime there's congestion, inflammation in the lungs, the sinuses, the ear, but it's a specific for mucus in the middle ear after a cold or a cough or a rhinitis, sinusitis, where the snap, crackle, and popping in the ear, when people blow their nose or they yawn, or, and then you feel all that popping going on, and that's a very unpleasant thing to fly with. Calimure will help the ear to clear very quickly. It's naturopathic physicians in this country give Calimure routinely for anyone with allergies or asthma or lung problems, any ear, nose, throat, lungs. They put people on, Calimure's a tonic.
In the chat, we have Amelia Lacayo, who says, Debbie, thank you for your work. It was good to see Miranda and listen to her. You're awesome. And then Donna Hesse says, this has renewed my interest in homeopathy. Thank you so much. So we're getting positive feedback. We do want to create that motivation and inspiration in the folks who are listening. You already answered question number 4 about tricks that seem to work for specific questions. And then at the end, I have that thank you, Miranda. Thank you to the viewers. Homeopathy is a system of medicine based on natural laws. And on the page that I have linked to the coupon code from you, if you go to Homeopathy World Community on the right-hand side, there's a sweet little picture of Miranda, and it links to a page with some more information. It says, Homeopathy in Emergency Medicine. There was a huge report, and that suggests that homeopathy may be applicable even for critically ill patients. And finally, we're going to move to how to reach you in the next slide, that you are in Gainesville, Florida. Go to mirandacastro.com. You will learn there about the teaching schedule that you have coming up, your articles, the webinars that you mentioned that you can listen to archived there, all of your blogs. You could go shopping, have fun. I mean, it is the holiday time coming up, and you've got books. You also have, for professional homeopaths, maybe for other healthcare providers, the Compass, a homeopathic practice management software program. And so is there anything else you wanted to add to what they're going to find on your website?
Just maybe tell them about my beautiful creams.
Yes, I have your creams with me.
Yeah. Oh, look at us. We've both got.
Yes, we love them. So the scar cream.
New little mini tubes.
Oh, great.
For people who just want to try them or who want to just pop them in their bag for traveling. It's very nice.
Oh, that sounds great.
They've got, each of these has a clever formula of low potency homeopathics. Each one has a cell salt. This one has calc fluor in it because of the
scars
that calc fluor has with the integrity, with helping joints that have been damaged through either disease like arthritis or through accidents, helping those joints to rebuild their strength and their integrity. So, and
marvelous.
The one for scars has silica in it because it helps with the epithelial tissue. So I'm kind of surprised at this time in my life. I never thought I'd be having a shop, but I do love having a shop, and it's very fun. It must be harking back to my childhood a little bit.
Did you play store when you were a child?
I did.
Were you the cashier?
Yes. And my very first job, I've never told anyone this in public, my very first job as a 16-year-old, my Saturday job was in a Whole Foods shop.
Marvelous. So we learned something new today. And also I have this, which I usually keep in my
the balm.
Yes, the lip balm.
The best balm in the world.
For, winter chap or summer heat, dryness, cracks. This is marvelous, smooth and creamy. It's got great ingredients in there. So there's a lot that you can do. You can have fun on her web store. And now the next slide is telling us that Homeopathy World Community, if you go to that page, you can go to the Health In group, and you're going to see an itemization of all of are we up to 30 or 40 shows already? And it's got the Miranda Castro discount code is HWB12. You'll also see...
Make sure you mention the blog radio, HWB blog radio.
Mention HWB blog radio, okay. And then we also have Complete Dynamics computer program for the professional, or if you're wanting to study. I use it to study also. A Wednesday coming up, each Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. That's about 9:30 in New Delhi. Dr. Adil Chimtalawala Kasim, cardiologist. He is a genius, and I love learning from him. We study the Kent repertory, and he's been giving a special lecture. We're up to part 2 of Masses in the Breast. And get on and ask your questions. Get on the chat live. He answers questions from all around the world. And then on Thursday at noon on Blog Talk Radio, Homeopathy World Community, Alan Phillips, we're into our 3rd year together every Thursday. Attorney at law, exemptions and waivers expert. We talk about vaccinations and your rights in the United States. We cover all of the current events about vaccines and the issues dealing with that. And I mean, if you want to tune in, it's wonderful. And let's see, the next slide, we're going to tell you that next week on this show, the Health In, Dr. Robert Bruck, my husband. Oh, maybe you don't have it. I have it on an upcoming. He will be talking about global climate change. He is a world expert in this field. And what are the health issues, health effects from global climate change? And you're going to learn that a lot has just come out in the news this week.
That's a very important topic, environmental medicine.
Environmental toxicity.
I think there are fewer homeopaths that take an environmental case taking, if you like, that check into all the issues that may be affecting a person, not just the ones, not just vaccinations, but all the other possible toxins because of the towns that someone lives in, because of the kind of housing they're in. Molds, for example, in Florida are a huge problem.
There's just a huge video, Miranda. After Hurricane Sandy, the folks who are living in Far Rockaway and at the coast, their houses are decimated. They are filled with mold. They said that all of their children and all of the adults, they're wearing masks. They have a cough. It's called a mold cough that they have. They can't get rid of it. Unfortunately, they're not getting the help that they need. They still don't have power. They still don't have hot water. They still don't have anything in many of the towns at the coast there. And so it's up to us to make waves, to call people, to do petitions, to let people know that we're concerned, and to give. There are plenty of organizations where you can help to give.
We should not do Christmas. We should put all that money, the holidays, all that money should go to, that's my opinion. I think, I feel so blessed with, if I can put food on the table, I give to the homeless here the end of every year.
You have a golden heart. And I agree with you. I don't need anything for me, but if I can help another person, this is really what we need to do. And since I'm mentioning Golden, Dr. Isaac Golden is going to be on December 17th on the Health In Show, talking about homeoprophylaxis again. He already did one really phenomenal show with us, and we want to have him back. If anybody has suggestions for guests, if you want to have Miranda back, let us know. Send in some feedback.
To come back.
Yeah, we could talk really more about cell salts, I'm sure.
Topics.
Or if you have another subject, we're ready to listen. Oh my God, we have over 2,000 listeners today. So we are doing fantastic. Hey folks, if you're out there listening, send us your feedback, send us your comments. What do you want us to talk about? If you want more on cell salts, we will do it. We have Amnon here, who he's like my dream producer. And he says, Debbie, you need to tell everybody about the flu. What about the flu that you don't have to run and get a shot, or you don't have to run and take some hardcore drugs? What can we do homeopathically?
I'll come back and do the flu if you want.
Okay, we want to say right now, look, everybody, you no matter where you go, radio, TV, to drugstore, to any store, you're getting this message. Oh, if you get a flu shot now, you can get a 20% off coupon. I mean, that's the stuff I'm getting in my drugstores here. they are really, I call it propaganda, I call it enticement or bribery, I don't know, marketing, whatever you want to call it. But we know that we have remedies such as acylcoccinum, we have influenzinum. Is there a cell salt that you think would be, or do we have to look at the symptoms to know which of the 12 cell salts to select?
I don't know. I might anemia to start with, but the flu, you need homeopathic. My opinion, you need homeopathic medicines. You need the bigger remedies.
The big guns, you always say.
The big guns. I don't know. I don't like that. I said that, but I don't like those images. But water pistols, maybe. Anyway.
Well, the idea is that they're powerful and they'll knock it out, whatever it is.
Pistols, they're fun and they're effective. So I have an article all about, and that's free. I'll give you links to send out to people for the flu, my flu articles, but the National Center for Homeopathy have fantastic resources for homeopathic medicines for the flu. And I'll send you all of those as well.
Fabulous.
They're all free. They're great.
I will put that up. If you go to Homeopathy World Community, go to the Health In group. There's the announcement page with all the information from Miranda, and I will put a link right there. And if you have to ask, go to Facebook and contact me there. We will answer your questions. What is that?
Or me. I'm on Facebook too.
Yes, call Miranda. Do you have an input question? You know, if you have a question, if they go to your web store, if they go to mirandacastro.com.
Contact me. They can also ask me questions on my Facebook page. You know, it's Facebook.
Right.
blessyou.com / I think it's just Miranda Castro Homeopath.
Right. So, how can I thank you enough? We have had such a fun morning together.
I've really enjoyed it, really a lot. Thank you.
Okay.
Great questions and your generosity of spirit.
Thank you. And thank you, all of our listeners. This is archived. People can listen to it again and again. You can share it. You can tweet it. On Twitter, you can put a link on Facebook. You can even, link it on your website. Put it on StumbleUpon, whatever you like. And Amnon, we love you. We love you, Miranda. And we're sending waves of awareness to everybody. Tons of love, because love is the greatest healing force of all. And we will see.
Healing ripples.
Healing ripples.
Yes.
Okay, and so until next time, I'll see you Wednesday on Blog Talk. And what's happening? There's a show tonight with
Scope of Things and Breaking Free.
The Scope of Things and Breaking Free are going to be on Amnon Nissan Communications at 7 and 8 tonight with another show host, Marilyn Shannon. Okay, bye-bye now.
Happy everything.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays 9 a.m. to noon. Health In with Debby Bruck, Mondays 11 a.m. to noon. The Scope of Things with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 7 to 8 p.m. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 8 to 9 p.m. Body Talk with Cindy Prince, first Tuesdays 8 to 9 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 8 to 9 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltaforce.net.